Good afternoon, a very warm welcome to the final race of these championships. We're here in Hoogerheide for the Men's Elite World Cyclo-cross Championships. As you can see, the crowd is absolutely huge. You can hardly move in here. Everyone has enjoyed a liquid lunch over the intervening period between the under-23 race and the race we're about to see now. And certainly all the different nationalities are here ready to cheer on their favourite riders. It is going to be a pretty loud and exciting next hour or so of racing as we find out who is going to be the world champion. Three former champions in the field. Sven Nys is here to try and defend his title. But of course we've got Niels Albert and the interesting addition, that little ingredient that could well change the race, Zdeněk Štýbar, as he looks to try and win a third title as well. Cloudy now, the blue sky has pretty much disappeared, the temperature's gone up, it's now 7 degrees centigrade, and this crowd are getting ready to cheer every single rider around this circuit. Let's take a quick look back at the highlights of the men's under-23 race that happened earlier on today. This was the move of Wout van Aert. Alongside me is Simon Burney. Simon, we enjoyed watching this young rider on the very top of his game.
We did. He came into it in perfect form, got it spot on, rode excellently, technically perfect, ran away from Van der Poel and the other Belgians, as we saw earlier just in that clip. Van der Poel came into the race as a strong favourite, but didn't quite have it on the day, but managed to salvage a bronze medal.
It was a stunning race, wasn't it? Van der Poel recovering, and this man really emotional at the finish, but very well deserved. Really, really well deserved. And Van der Poel at one point looked like he wouldn't even get on the podium, but he managed it. A really disappointed young man, actually, at the end of the race and in the press conferences. So as we look across this course now, there are spectators dotted all the way through the trees, but here's the rundown of the previous winners. Sven Nys won this race last year. He also won in 2005. Niels Albert won in 2009 and 2012. And Štýbar there with back-to-back wins in 10 and 11. They're all in the field. It is some lineup. And here is the course. Simon, we've talked a lot about this. Do you think much will have changed since the end of the under-23s race?
I think it has a little bit. It's definitely gone a bit softer. I think just that few degrees in temperature. It's gone a bit damper. Not as many riders changing to the intermediate tyres as we thought might have happened at the end of the under-23s race. So between field earlier, the British rider, he did some laps on Rhinos, the mud tyres, and he decided to change to Griffos for the race, but just been looking the riders warming up, and there's majority us back on Rhinos, back on the mud tyres.
Yeah, I noticed you went outside the commentary box a little while ago, wandered around as the riders were getting ready for racing. It's always good to see that final selection, isn't it, as to how they're going to go.
It is. I've actually just better change that. My field was actually using Challenge Limus, not Dugas Rhinos. Don't want to upset the sponsors too much, but no, he's back on the Griffo shake tread now.
So as we can see, we've been around this course before. If you haven't joined us so far, where have you been? But here we are. This is the course with the GoPro camera as we go around the circuit, taking a look at the twists and turns. But we saw a very different race this morning with the under-23s, the way that the leader was able to pretty much ride the entire course.
Yes, it had dried out so much from yesterday, from the junior race and the women's race. Overnight, gone a bit colder, the wind had come out, and it was just the one run-up. And then the odd section, obviously we saw Wout van Aert there running away on a section that was rideable the rest of the race, but he made his winning move running, which was interesting. But corners like this one we're just seeing on the off-camber, again, if you've got a clear run at it, it's easy rideable, but if you're in a group, it's you just get knocked off your line, get taken out of the rut, and it's a little bit more tricky and you're better off jumping off. But just the one run so far, but it'll be interesting to see with these elite guys. They're just a little bit faster than the under-23s. Yeah, conditions will change again during the afternoon, no doubt.
Well, as we get ready now to welcome the riders to the start. We've been out and about, wandering around, talking to some of the riders and just finding out their last-minute preparations as to what's going to happen. Here's the start list. Simon, you've been out and about. I had a quick chat to Sven Nys about an hour and a half ago as he rode around the course. And interestingly, he did a full-day race simulation yesterday. He went out, he went away from here, he did everything, breakfast, raced, massage, everything as though it was a World Championship day.
I read that on his Twitter feed. It was interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to hear the details there, because it's he's come into this championship with a different strategy to normal. It's very, very rare that one of the top guys miss a race just before World Championships. And Sven stayed in Mallorca last week training, missed the World Cup final in Nome. And that's pretty much unprecedented. Obviously, we've got Stibar in the race that hasn't been racing the World Cups. He's come into it off a training block. But for the guys that are racing week in, week out, and someone like Sven, you know, 40, 42 races in a season, to miss a race to do training is, well, it's a modern way of thinking, which for the Belgian cross riders is quite unusual.
Yeah, normal tradition has gone out the window.
Absolutely.
With him.
That's more of a British thing, this kind of structured season planning. But
Johan Museo wandering around. Yeah, it's a bit marginal gains, that, isn't
absolutely,
it?
yeah. And especially yesterday, if he was doing a recon of his race day, that's interesting.
Yeah, I said to him, why did you do that? And he said, because I've found that if I don't have a race the day before, then I'll go slow at the beginning. And on this course, I cannot afford to go slow at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah, I can believe it.
Here's Tom Musen, the rider, of course, won in Nome. Could he be the dark horse of the day? There's so many possible riders who could surprise as we get to introduce them now. Niels Albert, I talked to him also as he warmed up. He gave nothing away. He just said, yeah, I'm okay. He actually went around the course with 21 PSI in his tyres, and he said, I'm going back to change it because my tyres are far too hard for this course.
That's hard. Yeah, I was just talking to Jeremy Powers, and he's running 17.5 PSI in a Dugas Rhino. So 21 is way over. But yeah, Albert, you can't tell him anything. He will know exactly what he needs. He'll just do a lap and know exactly what to do.
There's Val Slaben, the German rider. He's been very good this season, pretty consistent in the World Cups. As jackets get thrown all over the place, the camera was getting in the way of the soigneurs there, which is not a good move. And so the last-minute chats, Kevin Powles, twice a bronze medalist, as he gets ready for racing. Belgians are so strong today. Number 3 alongside is Klaas van Tenoet. There he is. He was warming up earlier. Second last year, of course, as he gets focused and ready for racing. Here's the young pretender then, Lars van der Haar, as he gets ready to aim at his World Championship title. He is the World Cup winner, and alongside him, Sven Nys, the defending champion. And alongside Sven is Francis Moray, who of course won in Namur in the World Cup and did say then he was going to try and win the World Championships.
Sven on mud tyres as well. That shows it's still slippery. He would be the one that would go to intermediates if there was a possibility, but he's stuck with good muds.
Francis Moray, to me, looks so focused. I had a very quick chat to him about an hour and a half ago as well. Didn't say much, just said, I'm good today. I'm looking forward to it. Right, so the riders are ready.
On Moray's wheel there, Tim Johnson looking super focused. He's looking for a good start.
So here we go. Lars van der Haar, as usual, starts a la Mark Cavendish, really, really low as they sprint off the start line. Really important to get a very, very strong start, and van der Haar is flying, and so is Moray. Moray right in the centre of the picture, and Lars van der Haar right on the wheel.
Niels Albert there, back in the 20s.
Yeah, Niels
Very
Albert.
poor start.
Way
Got
down.
taken out by Klaas van Toornout, coming off the line.
So
Moray and van der Haar.
Moray and van der Haar lead down that first drop-off as one... Oh, a crash there on the left-hand side. One of the Americans came to grief, and
That was Johnson.
Johnson had a problem, and a few other riders now being held up, having to run in a section they really didn't want to run in.
Once you get past the 20-25 mark, there's always going to be a crash somewhere that holds those back 3-4 rows up. The important thing is the first 2 or 3 rows get away cleanly, and I think that happened okay, apart from Niels Albert.
So at the front then is Francis Moret, a World Cup round winner this year, as they go out on the course now and going through that little rutted section. And the riders that we've got used to at the front of the World Cups are all there. Sven Nys has got a very good start. He's up there in about 6th or 7th. Stybar working his way through. He had to start way down on the grid. He's now running about 12th place.
Martin Biener there in 3rd place, won the World Cup here last year when it was ice and snow, totally different to these conditions, but he's a man for the fast conditions, better in the slippy slidey than he is in the thick mud, but he's had a great start there.
Yeah, Martin Biener was 2nd in Zolder, wasn't he, in the World Cup? Had a very strong ride there as Moret goes swooshing round the corner. Oh, Van der Haar goes flicking over the top, and there's a crash there. Biener takes Van der Haar off. So Martin Biener crashing and Van der Haar going straight over the handlebars, but he's back up and running now. Very nervous in these first few stages as everyone tries desperately to get into the right position. Here's the replay. Moret was okay. Biener didn't take his foot out. Van der Haar went flicking straight over the top of him, but he's immediately back up on the bike.
I think they left Thijs van Amerongen in the chase there in 2nd place, just crept down the left-hand side of Van der Haar on the floor.
So
but meanwhile, it's gridlock on the bridge.
It is,
which is what we were expecting in the earlier races. We didn't actually see it, so it takes one person again to take a foot out, slip a gear, and it all comes to a grinding halt at the back of the race.
A few little mistakes being caused here.
Well, Worlds, everyone's going a couple of miles an hour faster than they normally go. Everyone's trying that little bit harder, but Moret here doing exactly the same as he did in Louisville last year, taking the race on the first lap. Didn't work out for him in Louisville, worked out for him very nicely in Nome last week.
There was one rider who crashed there in the middle, one of the Polish riders who held everybody up. I think it's Van Amerongen who's in 2nd place here, but Moret's opening up a little bit of a gap. Sven Nys is in 3rd place now, and it is Van Amerongen who is there.
Rob Peters in 4th. Van der Haar back into 5th. Klaas van Toorn. The only person missing from that group that you would expect to be there is Niels Albert, but that poor start has definitely hampered him. I think he's going to get caught behind a few little mistakes by other riders as well. It might be a lap or two before we see him in that first 3 or 4. I think that Belgian rider down there is Wietse Bosmans. Yeah, the last selection for the Belgians.
Rob Peters is up there as well, by the looks of things. So Moret is flying at the moment. Van Amerongen there, followed by Sven Nys, followed by the next rider in the group.
Rob Peters, Van der Haar, Klaas van Toorn, Biener and Stybar.
Stybar is riding very strongly, isn't he, considering how far back on the grid he had to start. Well,
hopped off his bike there as well. Interesting, that's the point where Wout van Aert was making the move this morning.
And Moret's ridden all the way through there. The Italian rider who is up towards the front is Enrico Franzoi, who was 3rd in 2007. So Franzoi also looking good.
Very smart riding that by Stybar. Looked up, saw the line, hopped off his bike, ran past a couple of people, ran past Van der Haar, and Franzoi was just behind him. Moved on to Nys's wheel, just where he wants to be.
Moret coming to a few problems there as he tried to get round the corner. Had to take the left foot out, almost went sideways. So it's Moret, Sven Nys, Van Amerongen, followed by Rob Peters, followed by Stybar, followed by Lars Van der Haar.
Got to ride the rut. He was out of the rut and he got stuck on the side of it. You see Nys coming down, we might not see Nys, but he was straight in the big thick rut on the bottom in the middle. Took him round the corner.
Sven Nys looks very confident, very controlled at the moment. Stybar with that normal style kind of bumps ahead a little bit. You can always pick him out. But the Czech Republic with Martin Biener and Stybar doing well so far. But Sven Nys looks very, very comfortable.
Sven's the guy for the last 15-20 minutes. If he's in this position early on, it's a pretty good sign. He doesn't slow down. If anything, he gets faster, and he won't let Moret get too far away. Again, rides the rut round the corner.
There goes Stybar.
Stybar gets off and runs it.
Lars Van der Haar's all right. Enrico Franzoi hits the deck there, but not too many problems.
again with Stibar, because he hasn't been racing cross regularly. He's just out of the real technical nuances that you need for a course like this, the little 1% here, 1% there that Nace is the master of. Stibar won't have that. We're only doing a handful of races. He's got the horsepower, and he's gonna, if he wins this race, it'll be on horsepower.
Well, it's absolutely electric in here. I just noticed Ian Field of Great Britain also in the sort of top 20 riders as they went through. He's riding well as well. So Francis Moray, followed by Nace, followed by Stibar, Van Amerongen, Rob Peters, Lars van der Haar. Little gap back to the Swiss rider, which I think
Julian
is
Taramarcaz, I think.
Yeah. And then we've got a couple more of the Belgian riders, Klaas van Toornoot and Vitsi Bosmans are also there. Franzoy and Valsleben is up there as well as they go up to the next turn.
Tom Mayusa is another one that didn't quite get the start he was looking for. He's down there behind Vitsi Bosmans and Klaas van Toornoot. We're just around about the top 10. We're looking at Vitsi Bosmans there with Mayusa just a few lengths behind him.
So the riders now starting to settle down into it a little bit as we see the winner in Namur, Tom Musen, as he tries to get back onto the string. Taramarcaz is at the back in the Swiss colours, the red and white with the black. Stibar looks around to see where everybody is. His mechanic was pretty stressed before the start. I went to have a quick chat and he said this is so stressful right now. So much to do before the start of the race. There's Valsleben, and he's just tracking quite nicely. Franzoy's there, right onto the run-up, and Moray. Stibar's looking really strong on the runs, considering how little cyclocross he's done.
Yeah, very little running in this, though. It's no extended running. This is just a real short little scamper up a bank. It's not an extended run. Nothing he won't be able to manage. But Moray's happy to sit on the front. You know, he likes to keep the grip on the race and make them ride at his pace. At Namur before Christmas, he rode away on his own and was quite happy to do that. In Nome, he tried to, and Mayusen got up to him. Ended up in a sprint, which Mayusen won.
So we're heading now to the completion of lap number 1 as the riders head up to the line, and it's Stibar who's pressing on. Looks around. 8 minutes and 28 seconds for that lap. Bearing in mind it's a longer lap, so 8 minutes and 10 seconds is the actual split point as Stibar goes rocking down that descent, and Lars van der Haar makes his way across. Also up there is Taramarcaz. He's working well, but Stibar's trying to stretch things out a little bit now. Just run through the other positions for you. We've got in the top places, Musen is 11th, Franzoy 12th, Simionek is following them. Ian Field of Great Britain is in 16th place right now. Jeremy Powers of the United States in 19th place, just 20 seconds down. Simon, importantly, Niels Albert is right now 20th, 22 seconds down.
With Taramarcaz on his wheel as well, so the Swiss guy in that front group is going to have to be, if it's not Simon Zarnett, maybe Marcel Wildhaber, maybe Arno Grant.
Well, I'm not sure.
I'll have to check the number on that one. We haven't seen that.
I think it's Wildhaber actually. So Wildhaber is sitting in 7th place. As we watch Stibar go flying down. He's right on the limit going down there. And last lap, Lars van der Haar went flicking over the top. He hasn't this time. So the American fans up there on the side will enjoy watching for the first American to go through. And just watching the speed that they can go around these corners is just exceptional.
Good course for Jeremy Powers. Talking to the American fans, this is the kind of thing where he should be able to be more competitive than he would be on a more technical, more muddy, more hilly race. Pretty straightforward. Comes down to riding power and some technical skill, but not huge. Something that Powers can't do.
We're definitely getting a race here, aren't we? Stibar, followed by Nace. Stibar uses the barrier to go round and keep the momentum going. Now Lars van der Haar moves into 3rd. Francis Moray trying to make his way back across. But Stibar, mouth wide open. He's absolutely flying, isn't he? He's really up for this. I know, Simon, you said he came here a few days ago and he hadn't made his decision he was even going to ride. And then he saw the course and thought, right, this suits me.
Yeah, he's got bigger fish to fry. Well, this is a big deal, don't get me wrong, but he's a road rider now. He's not a cross rider, and he gets permission from the team to do a couple of races. He's been training in Mallorca. He's getting ready for the Spring Classics on the road. But he came on Wednesday and looked at the course, decided that with the form he'd got, he could make an impression on the race, and decided to have a go. And I think once that decision was made, it was obvious he was going to be at the front at some point. He wasn't going to commit to this race and ride around in 10th or 15th. He was going to come and ride at the front and try and win a jersey. My only hope is if he is successful and he wins the jersey, that he doesn't disappear from cyclocross and become a road rider, because cyclocross needs that jersey on display week in, week out, if it's possible. Yeah, absolutely. What's interesting, though, with Omega Pharma Quickstep is that he gets permission to ride cyclocross, which, as you can see, is not the most. It's got the safest discipline. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. And Mark Cavendish isn't allowed to ride the track. Yeah, it's bizarre, that one. Yeah. Perhaps they don't want to get in splinters, I don't know. Yeah, maybe, something like that. So, Stibby is still, it's interesting to see he's off his bike there, same as last lap. Yeah, and Sven Nys is... And Lars is doing the pulling himself along the barriers that we saw. It was the second Belgian in the under-23 race this morning, not Wout van Aert. It was... yeah, I mean, a lot of them were doing that on the barriers. At one point, Mathieu van der Poel was using the barriers as well. It's a little technique, I guess it works. Van der Haar just flicking the bike out there, Francis Moret behind him. And let's just take a look what's happened. Oh, straight over the bars for the Luxembourger. That's one place we've seen a few riders go straight over the top. Yeah, some big deep ruts just there. Look like Alan Krugoff just getting held up behind him. So through the wall of sound as we head past all the various stands, the VIP area, which is absolutely mobbed as well. And now things seem to have calmed down a little bit. And they've calmed down with only one Belgian in the top four, and that's a bit of a selection. Yeah. Those four are clear. And a couple of those Belgians are going to be disappointed with their starts as Van der Haar goes into the pits. Yep. Oh, Van der Haar's fallen in the pits. So he slides over there. He took his bike. I don't know what happened there, but he went and ended up flat on his front again. Here we go. I don't know what happened there, but he looked round at his mechanic. I think the mechanic had let go of the bike, so I don't think it was the mechanic's fault, but given him a few lengths there to chase back on. Yeah, he's had to do this twice now. So he's trying to get himself back up to the group with Moret just in front of him. But at this point, you don't want Stibar doing this. Stibar is the rider who can really motor. And look at the amount of people in this area. It's incredible. They've had to shut the crossing points at the end of this lap because there are so many people here. They don't want anyone else trying to get across this course. This is this area where it was hard this morning, but now it's starting to look a little bit more like it did yesterday. Stibar goes round the corner. Sven doesn't look like he really wants to take it on yet. He looks like he's quite happy to let Stibar do all the work. I think he is. I think he's not burning any matches at all. I think he's just following and following. There's obviously some kind of underground water there that's going under that section, because those ruts are getting on towards halfway to your hubs, I think. We've seen a few of the lower place riders getting flicked over the bars, and it's... There's not much you can do, is there, if you just that wheel digs in and then you go. Let's take a look at where everyone is. Van Amerongen is there. Klaas van Toorn out, Wietse Bosmans, Philip Valsleben. Valsleben, unusually, he's not had the best of starts, has he? We always see him Peters, up towards the front, and he's normally the rider who's setting the tempo. Stibar's looking across at Sven Nys. Nys looks across and says, right, where is the fourth rider we had? Moret sitting back a little bit. He's taken his glasses off. Niels Albert chasing there. We don't quite know where he is on the course, but it's definitely not in that front 10 to 12 so far. Well, just to give you an idea on the split point right now, he's not in the top 15 riders. Okay. I think that's game over for Albert.
Yeah, he'd have a lot of work to do. He's had such an up and down season, hasn't he? When you look at him, you know, he was third in the World Cup. He rode so well in Hoogerheide and Roma, but other times he just wasn't even figuring.
Well, he had that problem in was it Zolder?
Yeah.
At Christmas when he crashed at the start, and he managed to get back up to the front group, which was pretty impressive. Whether he can do that again today, we'll have to wait and see, but he's given himself a lot of ground to make up there. It's pretty rare that you see Sven Nys taking the lead on the finishing straight, Anthony. He's obviously keen to keep those four clear, not make it too easy for the chasing group, led by Volsleben and Klaas van Toornout.
That was a very fast lap. 8 minutes 3 seconds was the lap split for Sven Nys leading across. And just to give you an idea, the makeup of the rest of the next group: Philip Volsleben, Klaas van Toornout, Radomir Simunek, Tom Musen, Thies van Amerong, Vitsi Bosmans, Rob Peters, Kevin Pauws, Marcel Wildhaber. There is Niels Albert, who's not having a good day. He's now moved up to 14th place, so he is starting to come back a little bit.
He's only 28 seconds down. 28 seconds is, well, it's significant, but it's not totally out of the realms of possibility. It just depends what he's going to do to himself, actually closing that gap down.
Jeremy Powers of the United States goes through in 18th place at 40 seconds. Ian Field of Great Britain goes through in 24th place at 48 seconds. So he's dropping back a little bit as many riders take bikes this time. The opening lap then, 8:10. The second lap, 8:03. Very, very fast indeed on that second lap.
The rider pushing on in that chasing group is actually Radomir Simunek, who has had a great season, had a really nice race in Nome last weekend, again coming to form at the right time, but looking committed and motivated today for sure.
What's impressive is that the way they take in that bottom corner there, where they swoop round, and this one particularly, just riding so fast. They're just letting the bikes track really nicely round those corners and just flowing now.
It is a bit like slot car racing, scale electric.
Yeah.
You just get wheels in the groove and follow it round, and it's pretty hard to get flicked out of the rut. You just need to make sure you're in it and in the right rut. And the hard ones on that section, they're not changing. The ones on the lower meadow, when it's soft mud, then the rut obviously moves, but the one they were railing around earlier, that's from yesterday, and it's dried out nicely.
I guess when you're trying to hone your technique to be a cyclocross rider, you do have to get to that point where you're happy to let the bike flow like that and let the bike go where it wants
Absolutely.
to go rather than where you want to take it.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's not really in your control. You know, you need to be totally happy with the bike sliding around, wheels going in opposite directions, both wheels sliding at the same time.
Over the bridge then, as they pass each direction. This is exactly how course layout is so important for the fans. No, Simon, you're going to be considering that over the next few months as you build the British World Cup in Milton Keynes. I know you're looking forward to that. And how much importance do you have to play on the course layout, thinking about spectators, fans, the experience they're going to have?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, spectator flow and best places to watch, and especially television. Television need to have a nice course, nice pictures, and then something that the riders enjoy and something that's challenging and it's going to be a good test for everyone that shows up. So yeah, it's exciting. We just got it announced yesterday that the UCI have awarded Milton Keynes the first World Cup outside of mainland Europe. So
exciting.
I was
times.
okay until yesterday, and then suddenly got quite nervous with all the work that's coming up in the next few months. But looking forward to it.
Yeah, you're not. The night before you'd have been, yeah, it's all cool. Now it's reality.
Exactly. How many portaloos we need, and how many beer tents, and how many meters of barriers, but we'll figure all that out.
Well, if you get a crowd like this, you need quite a lot.
Exactly, yes. And the good thing is we'll get these riders. That's the important thing for the British. They can come and see this calibre of rider on their doorstep, which don't get the opportunity very often at all. So.
No, I know, particularly talking to the British women yesterday, they were so excited about the fact of racing in Britain. That's going to be good news for them. And another rider. These ruts really are causing some problems. A Danish rider hitting the deck there.
Nace now putting the pressure on. Stybar's going with him, but there's a gap opening there to Murray and Van der Haar.
Yeah, they're going to have to really work hard now to come back. Sven Nace has decided he's going to really start to turn the screw on everybody else. And Zdeněk Stybar just tracking him nicely. Moray trying to shut the gap. Nace doesn't look 100% committed yet, but he knows there's a gap and he knows he has everyone on the back foot right now. But they won't give in. We've seen this happen so many times before as Sven Nace goes into the pits to pick up his new bike. Of course, changing bikes amazingly at the beginning of the year from Colnago to Trek, which was a big surprise. But he looks pretty happy to be on that machine now. Stybar on his normal same manufacturer as his road bike as he goes around the corner, and Van der Haar suddenly closes the gap. This is a pretty thrilling race so far, I have to say. And still, it's anybody's race. Here's the next group.
7-rider chasing group. At the moment, making no impression on that front four. I don't know if they're going to see them again.
It's mostly Belgians with a German filling, with Valsleben in there as they go again. Stybar now goes on the attack. Well, he's rocking the bike through there as he stamps through the pedals and tries to get some impetus coming out of that rutted section. And Stybar now is trying to get rid of everybody else, just as Van der Haar got back on the wheels. And he decides, right, I've got to try and do something about this now. Don't forget, you can get all the results, all the information from these World Championships on uci.ch. That's the website. You can click through. It gives you all the information you've been looking for on results. I know I've had so many messages of people saying, can you tell me where such and such finished? And I'm sorry if we haven't been able to give you everything. We've tried our best to give you as many results as we possibly can. But certainly that's the place to go if you want more information on everything that's happening. Running through the split points now. The gap is around about 16 seconds to the group of Valsleben. Stybar says to Sven Nace, come on then, come through and do some work.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Yep, I think they're all going to sit and watch and just see what happens. Sitting behind us over the last couple of laps has been a very nervous Lucy Garner, the double world road race champion as a junior, who of course her boyfriend is Lars Van der Haar, and she's just disappeared for a minute. I think she's finding it all a bit stressful right now with the 2 crashes he's had already. But Moray now is back onto the wheels and he's starting to shut the gap a little bit. But Stybar really wants to press home the advantage of at least ensure that they're now in the medal positions.
Yeah, Murray just lost a few more lengths there. It'd be interesting if these 3 sit up and look at each other on the road, then Murray can maybe get back on.
So coming up now to the end of lap 3.
Yeah, they're all looking around. No one's going to work. Murray can get back.
He says to Van der Haar, come and do some work now. Bearing in mind he's been on the deck twice. This gap's starting to shut a little bit, do you think? We'll get the time gap in a minute, but not sure it's as big as it was before. 5 laps of racing to go.
Even that second group are looking at each other, and there's 3 Belgians in it, so they really need to start thinking about the bigger picture here, because they're not doing themselves any favours. 4 Belgians, is that 5 Belgians? That's 5 Belgians. 5 Belgians, an Italian and a German.
Right.
So
there's a Czech rider in there, in that chasing group. So let's give you the rundown of the chasing group, who are now at 17 seconds. Tom Musen, Klaas van Toornoet, Radomir Simonek, Kevin Powles, Philip Valsleben, Rob Peters and Vitsi Bosmans is the makeup of the next group. And Niels Albert is
Niels
really
Albert there was
sweating.
with Marcel Wilhelber, the Swiss rider, and
Thies van Amerongen is also there.
Yeah, that's right.
In the next group, coming across is Enrique Franzoy, but Sven Nace doesn't take a bike this time now. That does Lars Van der Haar. Francis Moray does, so does Stybar.
Smart move by Nace. He's taking the bike on the opposite in pit 2 and not pit 1, which is before you can keep a bike cleaner for longer. The guys that are changing in pit 1, they're going straight into some muddy sections, and and it also means that he's not changing at the same time as those as well.
So things are a little bit clearer for him. It means he doesn't have so many things to worry about going through the pits area.
Yeah,
as
clean the bike for the road section and the 2 sections of road and the run-up. Not hugely important today. It's not heavy mud. It's not sticking it particularly. They're only changing as a precaution, just to kind of stop the build-up. Mainly for the tyres. The tyres kind of picking it up and the tread starts to fill, but pedals as well.
So they go up over the bridge and down the other side, and now Moray is so close to being there. He can just reach out, but he just can't quite shut the gap on the rest of them.
Kevin Powell's and Klaas van Toornout leading the chase. Klaas van Toornout, obviously, in my mind, the strongest rider last year in Louisville, lost out to a much smarter riding Sven Nys. Van Toornout had a great year last year, won the Belgian Championships, and was very, very good in that World Championship. But a bit of a Belgian team time trial in that chase group. Nys, Stybar, Van der Haar, just those couple of lengths off. He's obviously dangling. He needs to hold on as long as he can onto that group.
So over the top of the bridge, Simon, we're going to quickly just we might as well take advantage of the fact that sitting behind us over the last few laps has been a very nervous double world junior champion on the road, now a giant Shimano professional. Lucy Garner, welcome. Your boyfriend is Lars. A little bit nervous, I think. How are you?
I'm extremely nervous, honestly. Like, racing myself, yeah, I get so nervous, but yeah, watching Lars race. Cyclo-cross is a very scary sport, so I do get quite nervous for him.
What about the crowd, though? It's incredible, isn't it? And can be really partisan. He's here in the Netherlands, in his home area, but the Belgians are booing him. And everything else, it's such a different sport, isn't it?
It is, it's completely, the crowds are just crazy. There's so many people, you can't even count how many rows there are, but no, there's always going to be people that are going to be booing, but it's just because he's a good rider and he's mixing it up with the Belgians, and I think that it's great to see so many countries up at the front in a different variety of countries, so it's great to see that.
Final question then, so how's his week been? Has he been very nervous? Has he been very focused? How does he build up for a race?
He has been nervous, but also very focused. I know how hard he works, and it's extremely hard. So for him to get podium would be amazing. For him to win, it would be amazing. I think he's going to win, obviously, but yeah, we'll see. He's trained for it. He knows what he has to do, so he's going to go out there and do it.
Right, Lucy, I'll let you sit back and watch the race, and Simon will rejoin us. All the best with your road season.
Thank you.
Hope it goes well, and fingers crossed for you. I know you're going to be sitting here excitedly behind us. So thank you to Lucy Garner for joining us. So here we go then, as they continue with this effort. 5 laps of racing to go. And we've still got these 2 riders trying to press ahead a little bit. Sven Nys and Stybar. And I did say at the beginning, when I talked to Sven Nys a little earlier, I said to him, a little problem there again for...
Klaas van Toornout.
Yeah. Sven Nys, I said to him, who are you worried about today? I expected him to say Lars van der Haar, but he said Stybar is the person I am most concerned about today. Another problem there, it's a little slide. All these little mistakes are you're going to pay for them later when you really need to press on, aren't you? Yeah,
well, there for Lars, he's just trying to close that gap down. It's just another second or 2 he could just do without not losing, really. But these 2, I think, in most people's minds, these were the 2 guys that were going to end up at the front of the race. I'm actually surprised it's quite this early. It's still quite a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, are you surprised how far down the rest of the Belgians are? Because they really are quite a long way back.
I'm surprised how many of them didn't have great starts. That was a big surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ability of those first four, once they've got a gap, it's pretty hard to close them down. I think Albert was the biggest loser in that start kind of melee, but Kevin Powell's there, has moved away from that chasing group, and he's up to Murray.
Well, yes, Kevin Powell's is a rider that we would have expected to figure in this race. You know, he's a previous winner. And can he now? He's a previous winner of the under-23 title, of course, Kevin Powell. So he's a rider who we would have expected maybe to figure here. He's finished in the bronze medal position on a couple of occasions in 2012 and 2011. So he's a rider of the caliber, and this sort of course does suit a rider like Kevin Powell's.
Yeah, Kevin Powell's 2 years ago had an amazing season. He was winning World Cups, he was winning Super Prestiges. This year he's been a little bit under where he was previously, but no doubting his ability at all. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him coming back, and he's caught Murray now.
This is going to help
only a handful of seconds. It's going to, yeah, we've only been racing half an hour. We've got another half hour to go yet. There's still plenty to play for. But to play against these two, who are, you know, in cyclo-cross terms, at the top of their game. Obviously, Stybar, you maybe don't think of him as a cross rider anymore. People that have come into the, watching this maybe more familiar with the road. They might know the name from Paris-Roubaix last year, but they might not know him as a cyclo-cross rider. But this is the sport he loves, and he can, when he's on his day, he can ride with the best, and Sven is the best at the moment. Yeah,
absolutely right. We're coming to the end of the next lap. This looks like a pretty fast one as they go racing round to complete their fourth lap. And Kevin Powell is shutting this gap. Stybar looks around, shakes his head. He's not very happy that Sven Nys is not doing any work. They go across the line. This time it is an 8-minute split. That's the fastest lap we've seen so far. Lars van der Haar's got problems with his pedals. He couldn't, his feet were out the pedals there.
Yeah, he'll be going into the pits, no doubt. Whether it's, hopefully it's just pedals and not cleats. If it was cleats, that would be more of a problem. But if it's just a clogged up pedal, then a clean bike will remedy that one. 12
seconds is the advantage of these two leaders to Van der Haar, followed by the next group on the road. Kevin Powell is now 18 seconds down. Murray at 23. He's been left by Powell. Van Toornert at 33. Musen at 33. Rob Peters and Val Slaben. Radomir Simonek now 11th place at 37 seconds. So it's still anybody's race, but these two riders are pushing on a little bit. Van der Haar goes into the pits. He desperately needs a bike here because he had pedal problems there. He manages to get on safely. Last time he had a bike change, he was flat on his front. Now he's back on a bike that he'll be happy with.
Yeah, Kevin Powell's took a bike there as well. The left-hander. We were talking about that in one of the earlier races.
Well, we're just going to welcome... It's a busy commentary box. We've got lots going on. Simon will be keep an eye on the action. And I'm just going to quickly welcome, as we see Sven Nys and Stybar on the attack. Welcome to the commentary box, the president of the UCI, Brian Cookson. Brian, you've been out and about. Welcome to the World Cyclo-cross Championships.
Hi, Anthony. Thank you very much.
This support here is absolutely incredible, isn't it, for cycling?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It's always the same in Holland and Belgium. Great crowds, wonderful spirit, fantastic atmosphere, and brilliant racing.
In terms of, you've been pretty busy. Your schedule has been flat out since you took over as president, but I think yesterday some fantastic initiatives and fruits of hard work now starting to be seen.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff going on in the efforts that we're making to modernise and globalise the sport, improve the economy, and make a professional sport stronger, and develop women's sport as well, and that's really important to us.
And we're seeing, we saw the Tour de France organisers announce something that's been campaigned for a long time, a one-day race on the Champs-Élysées. That's going to be quite a spectacle.
Yeah, that's something we've been working with ASO, the Tour de France organisers, on for a while. We're very proud and pleased that we've been able to make that announcement with them, something we're very supportive of, and ultimately it will lead to something bigger, we hope.
and globalisation of cyclo-cross. Simon, who's been sitting alongside me, bringing the first World Cup to Great Britain as well, something that probably is a little bit close to your heart too.
Yeah, well, of course, now I'm an international person, so I'm not entirely partial to Great Britain. I've got to look at the whole world, the global picture, and cyclo-cross is a superb discipline. It's relatively easy and straightforward to organise. You get a great amount of participation, wonderful crowds, and I'm very pleased to see the World Cup expanding into Great Britain, and I'd like to see things develop around the world as well.
Well, it must admit, if we can see races as enthusiastically supported as this across the world, then we're certainly going in the right direction, aren't we?
Yeah, and cyclo-cross is not just a great spectator sport, it's a great sport to take part in as well. It's easy at any age as well. You can have great fun messing around in the mud and the dirt and riding around the fields, and it's very easy to do and very safe and very exciting and energetic to take part in.
Final question then, what's your next schedule? What's next for
well,
you?
my feet are not touching the ground at the moment. I was in the Tour Down Under last week, and over in Paris earlier at the end of last week with the opening of the new velodrome there, the fantastic facility they've got. And now I'm here at the World Cyclo-cross with our management committee as well. And then next week I'm off to the Winter Olympics, the Sochi, to start talking with the IOC about our plans for the future development of cycling within the Olympic Games.
Fantastic. Well, nice to see you, Brian. Always a pleasure to talk to you and to find out what's going on, and go out and enjoy the finish.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as we continue now with the attack that's going on of these riders, let's bring you up to speed. Simon's been keeping an eye on the action. Lots going on. Very busy day in here.
It is very busy. Yes, I think the major talking point there is Kevin Powell's catching Lars in that third and fourth position. We're just looking there at Niels Albert, but Stibar and Nace still locked together. Stibar's throwing a few attacks in, but Sven is at the moment still looking pretty comfortable to me.
The gap is around about now 22 seconds between these two riders and the chasers. Let's take a look here at... he's not having a good day, is he?
It's Witzer Bosmans. Yeah. Just chasing Simonek down there. You know, we keep looking at these slow-mos. I think every rider at some point is going to do exactly the same thing. It's no real big surprise when you have little slides like that. But this rutted section is getting... yeah, that's definitely not dried out at all. That's getting worse. The ruts are getting deeper.
You have to love the way Stibar rides. He just absolutely throttles it, doesn't he?
He's very energetic, isn't he? Yeah, and Sven is the antithesis. I think he's so calm, so cool, totally under control. Never looks too stressed, Sven.
Here's the two chasers then. Powell's on the right-hand side in the blue, and Van der Haar in the orange. As these two riders now try and close the gap. The good thing if you're chasing here is you can look across, you can see what sort of advantage they've got. Moray looking to me to start to be a little bit more tired, and he really did lead very, very well at the start of this race.
He does, and he does it very often, and he doesn't seem to learn from it. I don't know, it frustrates me watching Moray. He goes out hard, he's great for a few laps, gets gaps, and then, you know, 20 minutes in, he starts to get caught, and then... slips back. Occasionally it works, you know. In Namur it worked.
Yeah.
Nome, he was great, but you know, we saw it in Louisville last year. He went out hot and didn't end up with a result, which he's definitely got the ability.
Bronze medalist back in 2006. That's when he really emerged as a cyclo-cross rider at this sort of level. He won Namur earlier on in the season. That's a very different course to today. Second in Nome. And I would have expected Moray maybe to be a little bit further up than now and maybe control things, as Simon said, a little bit better today. But down this descent again, and Sven Nace leans over. Stibar going with him. Van der Haar having to work really hard. And number 4 there, Kevin Powell, twice a bronze medalist, staying with Van der Haar now as they go back onto the road to complete another lap. This is the end of 5 laps. Sven Nace looks behind him and sees where Stibar is. Stibar really tucking in, really using his road skills to very, very good effect. They're going right to the right-hand side of the road, being sheltered from the wind by the crowd. 40 minutes of racing gone, and that lap that time was 8:07. So 7 seconds slower than the last lap as they go down the drop-off again. Ooh, Stibar having a few problems, hitting some ruts.
Yeah, I think we saw Van der Haar kicking his pedals again on the finishing straight there. He's still having some issues there, which makes you think it might be cleat and not pedal.
Which is a massive problem, isn't it?
It's difficult when it's cleat related. Not so easy to stop and change shoes as it is to change bikes, that's for sure. But
most of these riders then, in terms of pedals, they use the stripped out kind of very spindly pedals, don't they?
Well, they're all different, you know. There's Sven's on Shimano, I think. Stibar, Shimano or Time. Not too sure what he's on, but there's a few on the quite pared down ones, like the Crank Brothers ones, Egg Beaters, things like that. But again, it's all personal choice, what feels good and what sponsors like you to use.
I'll tell you what, Sven Nys now is looking better and better all the time. He's just got that focus, but it's almost like he's still holding back just a little bit. Just keeping something in reserve if he needs it, as Van der Haar doesn't go into the pits.
Stibar was trying to get a message there to his pits, I think. He was shouting across at one of his team staff whether he wants different tyre pressure or something changing. Mayusen there, just getting tangled up on the back of Murray. So Murray again sliding back. It's another rider there that's caught him. Mayusen in great form, won last week in Nome. Was exceptional in Nome last week. He was dangling off those front two the whole race and ended up winning the sprint.
Yeah, I mean, he was
very determined. He's a great rider to watch. He's a real racer.
It did look last week like he was just going to get dropped at any minute. He was that 2 or 3 lengths off and just couldn't get back on. And then suddenly everything happened. He got back, and then the race all went his way.
And I think any other rider would have been dropped. I think there's only him that would have carried on fighting so hard to stay there. And again, it's like we saw this morning, you know, you don't give up and suddenly the result comes.
So at the end of that lap, the advantage was 20 seconds and 21 to Van der Haar and Pauwels respectively. Then the group of Van Turnhout and Moray.
Oh, it's been a coming together there. We missed that one, but Pauwels and Van der Haar have obviously got tangled up in that rut.
So that's
in the barriers, and Pauwels off his bike to just straighten his bars.
3 crashes for Van der Haar today, and we never see that. We've seen him go over the handlebars, I think in Namur possibly, from memory.
Yeah, we're going to see it. No, we're not.
Oh, and a crash there as well.
Again. Mayusen just sliding out.
You did say this course is going to change as the afternoon goes on, so the course could be changing, and where they were taking risks before, they're unable to take the risk on the next lap.
Yeah, it's too bad we can't see what happened there with the crash with Van der Haar and Pauwels, because, well, we don't really need to know what happened. They both fell off, and hopefully neither of them hurt themselves, and now they're both back on. Bikes are okay.
Well, when they look back at this race, the amount of tumbles that the Dutch rider has had has been his season's amount. He's hardly had any. So here we go now as Sven Nys goes up over this rise. And Stibar tucks in on the wheel yet again. A rider who, as Simon said, is now really one of the road riders who is emerging all the time. The winner of the Tour, of the Eneco Tour and other big races. And this year, is he going to win another massive race? Is he going to do something like Paris-Roubaix and be up there with the rest of his team and produce a big result? He's a fantastic bike rider. And he's now off the bike round that little turn, choosing to dismount rather than ride. And he is doing that quite often. Van der Haar also now looking to just try and secure at least the bronze medal. But there's a couple of laps left to go after this. Well, thanks very much for joining us as we bring you these Elite Men World Cyclo-cross Championships here in Hoogerheide. You can join Simon on Twitter at Simon Burney, me on Twitter at Ant McCrossan if you want to get in touch with us. But we're now going to go into the real business end of this race as we head towards a conclusion and find out who is going to be the world champion.
Feels like Sven's starting to put a bit of pressure on. He's just trying to test Stibbe just to see what's happening, see how his legs are. Stibbe's there, but he's just a few lengths. Not quite as comfortable as he was a lap before there.
Suddenly the accelerator's going on.
Be interesting to see the lap time at the end of this one, because I think, to me, it looks a little bit quicker.
It's very, very fast, and Sven Nys is giving it absolutely full gas now.
That's the difference. Sven can ride things like that. It's just that little bit better, and there you see another few bike lengths come out.
Goes round there, and the Belgians in this area, and there are thousands of them, are going completely and utterly mad.
Now, Sven's going to normally just try and cement this lead. He needs to just build on that advantage.
He was right on the limit through that section, and you can see the faces on the Belgians as he kicks up the mud. And Stibar is having to absolutely give it full beans to try and get back. Look at this, he kicked up the mud round that corner.
Never stop pedalling though. That's what I'm saying about, you got to get used to the wheels moving around.
Yeah, never
not a
stop
flicker
pedaling
on his face when things like that happen.
Stibar fights his way back. He's back on the wheel again. And is he going to match him? Pedal rev for pedal rev as Stibar goes to the left-hand side. And he holds onto the barrier again. They have a lot of daylight between them and the next group on the track. And that is Kevin Powles and Lars van der Haar. Moray now dropping back a little bit. Just to give you an update on some other nationalities. The Swiss riders Waldheber and Taramalkats are at 14th and 15th. Franz Oy of Italy is 17th. For the American fans, Jonathan Page is 20th. And Jeremy Powers in 23rd place. Ryan Trebon in 29th. Ian Field of Great Britain in 27th place.
Ian Field was looking for a top 25 before the start of today, so he's in the ballpark of what he was looking for.
Kevin Powles has just attacked Lars van der Haar again and is now going away.
Klaas van Toorn out. I think he's on his own there behind van der Haar and Kevin Powles, just in front of Tommy Uzen.
So the big question now is that big attack of Sven Nys. How many more attacks does he have in the tank? Because I think if he leaves it to the finishing sprint, Stibar will beat him on this main road into the finish line. So he has to get rid of him, and for the first time he makes a little mistake on that climb. This is going to be a fast lap. They're already at the end of it as they make their way onto the tarmac. So the question now is, what is the gap? And have these two secured the gold and silver medals? The sun is now coming out. Here we are then, 2 laps of racing to go. They cross the line, 48 minutes gone, and that lap time was around about 8 minutes and 9 seconds.
Stibar pushing on, just testing Sven a little bit. So Klaas van Toorn was actually...
We missed
that. We missed that. Klaas van Toorn in front of Powles and van der Haar, and I would guess that happened when those two crashed. I would guess that van Toorn out there went past them when they were getting themselves untangled.
I'm wondering as well whether you're right that van der Haar's got a problem with the cleats on his shoes, because he's constantly looking down at his pedals in that finishing straight. Stibar now takes a bike, so does Sven Nys, so both riders on new clean bikes.
And van der Haar there just getting a little bit distanced by the two Belgians.
So Van Turner and Kevin Powles going it to try and get across to these leaders. It's going to be a massive arse though. The gap is 43 seconds. 46 seconds to Powles, 49 to van der Haar.
Stibbe's down.
Ooh.
Sven just managed to get up in time and jump over him.
So So here's the replay. Goes down here, round the corner, and then banks it over again. And Sven Nys manages, look at that, the reactions are so fast. And now he's going to go and try and capitalise on the mistake of Stybar. So he goes on the attack.
That corner's taken some victims today, Anthony. That's definitely changed in the last few hours, that corner. And Stibby's looking at his bike as well, whether he's got something not quite working. We'll have to wait and see.
He goes to the right-hand side now to try and stay. There's another replay here. And almost, he's right on the limit, isn't he? Right over by the barriers. Stybar's having to fight his way back yet again. And Sven Nys went over to Spain last week. He missed the Nome World Cup. He just trained down there. He came back. He did a race simulation yesterday. And so far, it's all paying dividends as Van der Haar reaches the top of the bridge and tries to come back to the Belgians, who are just in front of him. But today, Sven Nys is looking pretty supreme. Thanks very much for joining us as we are reaching the conclusion of this World Championship cyclocross race for the elite men. We're into the last couple of laps. The race situation, if you're just tuning in now, is that Sven Nys leads with Stybar with him. The gap is back to Klaas van Toorne and Kevin Pauws and Lars van der Haar. And then a bigger gap to Musen, Peters, Murray. Niels Albert is now 9th place at 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Kevin Pauws again just taking a few lengths out of Van Toorne out there. But I think this is going to come down to a last lap thriller. I don't think that Sven is going to break the elastic on Stibby before then.
We just see the shoulders working on Stybar as he just tries to stay there, constantly rocking forward. It's a full-on effort, isn't it, just to stay on the wheel, and he's doing it. I guess the stamina of a road rider riding these long road stages means he can just try and dig in a little bit more. Stybar is leaning the bike over, 1 foot out, leaning right over there to just try and get round the corner. But this constant momentum, the constant effort of Sven Nys is really hurting Stybar now. These two riders.
Just needs the elastic to snap, and that's gel. It's just a few seconds, but it's just still never quite enough.
It goes again.
Keep it going over the top of that climb.
Another big attack from Sven Nys as he tries to get rid of Stybar. Stybar this time looks across. He wants to just see what's going on here. And Sven Nys is now breaking the will of Stybar a little bit. He's got a couple of seconds. Is that enough to just try and get away as they come up to the pits area yet again? And for the first time, we see a little bit more daylight between Stybar and Sven Nys.
Yeah, Sven Nys would normally have got to bite that lap, but on that pit, but you can't do it when you're under that much pressure. If he would have gone into the pit, he would have come out behind Stybar, so he had to keep that attack going, which is going to mean another half a lap before he could get a clean bike. But to get a clean bike, he needs a bigger advantage than that, and he's down. Yeah, and we've seen that a couple of times. Just pulling on that barrier pulls the wheels from under you.
I can't believe the amount of times that these riders are hitting the deck today. They are so much on the difference, that knife edge between absolutely right and good and technically excellent and just flicking over and falling. And we've seen Stybar crash, Nys crash, Van der Haar crash. It's just everyone's hitting the deck.
Now Stybar on the attack, putting Nys under a little bit of pressure.
They are knocking bits out of each other here as they go on the attack and try and get rid of each other. And Stybar knows, he must be so confident that if he can get to the finish, he will manage to win this one because he's going to be the faster sprinter. He's just looking for any possible advantage here. Sven Nys is just sitting in again. He's just going to recover. Hands on the top of the bars. Stybar looks around. They've got daylight. It's not really about anyone else anymore.
It's not. There's a little bit of a fight for third place here. Kevin Powell's has got still those 10 or 12 lengths on Klaas van Turnhout. Van der Haar now, well, he's still in the picture.
Van Turnhout heading towards a third bronze medal in these World Championships if he can get up there. But it's still between these three for the bronze medal. Similar to what we had this morning in the under-23s race. It was not really decided until right towards the end. Sven Nys now looking across to see ahead of him and see where he can make his next attack. The question is how many more attacks he has. He goes on to the running section. Shoulders the bike. Stybar still looking strong. He hasn't removed those dark glasses at all. And the light now is pretty much faded. So the defending champion, Sven Nys, trying now to win a hat-trick of World Championship titles. Stybar also trying to do the same. And we're now back onto the road, the completion of this lap. And Kevin Powell's looking good, wearing number 4 there, as he picks his way steadily up there. Van Turnhout is now onto that running section, and Lars van der Haar also reaches it to try and go for the bronze medal too.
Even Sven's kicking his pedals. It's that kind of mud. I don't think it is a Van der Haar only problem, that one, Anthony. I think
57 minutes, 1 lap to go. Sven Nys leads Steinek Stybar as they go across the line, and that time it was a slow lap, 8 minutes 25 seconds, the slowest lap we've seen. It's still anybody's race for the bronze.
Still anybody's race for the gold. That's true.
You're absolutely right. Across the line in third place goes
Kevin Powell's.
Powell's followed by Van Turnhout.
Yeah.
And then Lars van der Haar in 5th place. It's going to be some finish, isn't it?
It is. So they've still not gone in for a bike. So Nys is obviously confident that the mud in the pedal issue was just what's being picked up on that last run-up.
Are you surprised about that? You would expect them to take a bike that time and be on a clean bike, but maybe the pressure's just really on right now.
It looks like, yes. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take one in half a lap. I think a little bit depends on what happens between now and then, but a clean bike for that last half of a lap might just make the difference, but it's just this few seconds that you lose going in to get a bike, and have to wait and see. But just safely round that corner, both of them. That's where Stybar decked it last time round.
Just to give you the rundown then, Van Turnhout's at 37 seconds, Powell's at 28, so he's ahead. Van der Haar at 41, Musen at 52, Peters at 101, Murray now at 115 at 8th place, Simonek in 9th, Bosman's in 10th.
Witzer Bosman's doing a good ride there, top 10. He was the last selection for the Belgian team, and they waited until Nome last weekend to make that final call between him and Bart Wellens.
I think many people wanted to see Bart Wellens ride again, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but there's got to be a time when you fade out and let the younger guys come in. Wellens hasn't really had a season that justifies a World Championship selection. And, you know, when you're choosing the 6th or the 7th rider, then it's time to give the young guys some experience. And, yeah, it's sad for Bart, but he's had an amazing career.
Right, we're getting ready now for the run-in to the finish of this World Championship. Has been dominated. Stybar's now kicking. Here goes his hill efforts. He's been doing in Mallorca. Kicks his way over the bridge. Down the other side, trying to test Sven Nys a little bit more as he tries to get rid of him. Stybar really putting up the pressure now. A big, big move from the Czech Republic rider. Stybar absolutely flying around that corner. He's desperately trying to get rid of the Belgian. He goes dumping his way down that drop-off. Absolutely fantastic to see.
But no success at all. Sven just very calm, stayed there 3 or 4 lengths off, just in case Stybar makes a mistake.
Stybar goes hauling his way. Here he goes. Oh, another big attack over the top. Stybar is using all that training he was doing a week or so ago to try and get rid of the Belgian. But still, Nace is staying with him. He's still on the wheel. He's still able to go. Both riders racing up here. What a conclusion to this World Championship. Stybar gets off and runs, while Sven Nace has a big problem. He has to get off there as well.
Yeah, Nace would have ridden that. I think he would have got up there, but Stybar just took a breath and just took a couple of slower paces, and Sven had to get off the bike.
Round the corner where there's a lot of Czech fans, and now Stybar tests him again. Just turns the pressure up a little bit more and has to take the foot out. So does Nace. He has a little bit of an issue as well. Round that corner, and now Stybar has opened up a couple of seconds.
Sven's off the bike again.
Oops. So Stybar is trying now to go for the rainbow bands, trying to go for the hat-trick of victories. Round that corner, tracking it nicely, and this is the first time he's managed to break him. Sven Nace being urged on by the Belgian fans, but over the top of this rise, he can't see Zdeněk Stybar as he tries now to get away and get the gold medal. Well, Sven Nace had done absolutely everything right so far, but just a couple of little mistakes under pressure has cost him, and Stybar is going away. So Zdeněk Stybar has daylight. Look at this as he goes racing along past the pits, turns left, and Sven Nace is desperately trying to get back to the wheel of the fast-moving rider from Omega Pharma Quickstep, the rider who rides mostly on the road now. Flicks his way off, takes the feet out the pedals, runs around this section, gets back on the bike as quickly as he possibly can. Sven Nace decides to ride it so he can just try and get back to the wheel.
Absolutely beautiful. That is classic Nace.
Technically perfect round that corner.
Got round that one without tucking the front wheel under like you saw last lap. But that gap is, I don't know, that's significant.
You can see the pace that Stybar is putting in now. Now he's hands in the middle of the bars. The back wheel is just going left and right as he looks for any possible advantage. Sven Nace just trying desperately to find a little bit more watts, just try and get back to him. Stybar now into the next little turn. Has a little micro rest as he goes round to try and just let the body recover a little bit. Then he'll turn the heat up yet again. All the little techniques that these road riders perfect.
Oh, Nace almost lost it there.
Almost hit the barriers like some of the juniors did yesterday. So another turn. Sven Nace goes round, uses the barriers. Stybar is absolutely flat out now. He can't let up. He's got to keep going all the way to the finish. We haven't seen the battle for the bronze medal at all. It's all about the concentration on who's going to take the gold. Has Sven got anything left in the tank? They go round onto the road section again. Then we've got one more little run up, and then it's the set-up for the finish. You'll notice that Stybar is using the Aero Road helmet that Mark Cavendish uses in the Omega Pharma Quickstep team. And that can save you on a run into the finish 12% compared to somebody else, about 12 watts, sorry, compared to someone else on a straight run line up to the finish.
That's probably when you're going 40 miles an hour with 8 bars in your tyres.
But maybe not with 19 PSI at the end of a cyclo-cross race.
Exactly, yeah.
It might save him one watt.
Every little helps.
Anyway, down over this next bit. Now he's going to set himself up for the next run-up. Nace has not given up at all. He's still looking for this one.
This is all over.
Stybar comes round the final corner, and now he sets himself up to try now and straighten the jersey. Yeah. Sven Nace has given up. He said, that's it. It's going to be silver medal. He can't believe it. The camera comes back. It is going to be a win for Zdeněk Štýbar, the rider from the Czech Republic. He kisses his bike and he's now going to sit up and he takes the victory. He is the world champion. What a win. He only decided to ride for the final time on Wednesday and he takes the victory. Sven Nys shakes his head. Silver medal to the rider from Belgium. Well, he gave it absolutely everything. He prepared perfectly, but it just wasn't to be. That little error when Štýbar capitalised, and that was it. Wilfred
that was some race.
It was.
That was some race.
Absolutely breathtaking. Oh. So now we've got to turn our attention to the bronze medal, and it is going to be Kevin Pauwels who's going to race in, who's going to take the bronze medal here for Belgium. So silver and bronze for them. Behind them is
Klaas van Toorne and Tom Meyerson. Yeah. Belgium, depth in numbers, but not the top step this afternoon.
And behind them is Musen, and then Lars van der Haar.
Yeah. But seeing the two strongest guys in the race knocking 10 bells out of each other, that is what you come to a World Championship hoping to see.
It is, isn't it? Well,
yeah.
Very disappointed, Lars van der Haar. He crashed how many times? 3. It wasn't to be his day, but he's the youngest, pretty much the youngest rider in the field. He can come back and fight another day. But look at that. Well, we said we wanted a race, didn't we?
We
said we
absolutely.
didn't want a procession.
We couldn't have had one better than that. That was stunning.
Absolutely incredible racing. Thoroughly enjoyable. Just constant attacking of the two best riders in the race. And they just didn't give up. It was just about, let's just knock bits out of each other until one of us cracks. And finally it was, surprisingly, Sven Nys who crashed it, who just had that little problem. And that was it.
Rob Peters, Francis Murray, 7th and 8th. Radomir Simonek in 9th. Witzer Bosmans in 10th. Philip Volsleben here.
Well, Volsleben's a rider we've seen all season figure in all the big moves. Today just wasn't his day either. He's going to finish in about 11th place, I think. Yeah, Volsleben 11th.
In front of Franzoy and Van Kessel, I think.
We'll count through some of the other places as we make our way towards the interview of Štýbar.
Good ride there by Nicolas Bazin, I think it was, the Frenchman. 15th.
Yep, he was
Marcel
15th.
Wildhaber, the first Swiss. And here's Jonathan Page, first Americans, 18th, I think.
Yeah, Jonathan Page is going to cross the line there, a former podium finisher, 18th place.
And here's Albert, made the top 20, but he won't be happy with that.
It's been an indifferent season for Niels Albert. He's really disappointed, just wasn't his day.
Steve Chanel.
Yep.
The shake of the head.
So Steve Chanel finishes in 21st place. Behind him, I think this is Sasha Weber, heading up to the finish line. And we're thinking that Jeremy Pauwels of the United States is somewhere in the top 25.
Just coming onto the road now, I think. So I think this is 24th. I think we'll see Pauwels. Maybe not the day he was hoping for. I think he was hoping for a top 15. Top 10 would have been an outstanding effort for him. But talking about, well, he's staying over in Belgium for the next few weeks, Pauwels, to finish off the Belgian season, as we see the one of the incidents during the race.
That was full of incident. It never stopped, did it?
Absolutely. Yeah, Pauwels is talking about coming back next year for more of the World Cups. The Americans were quite absent from the World Cups this year, just Page over here, but Pauwels, I think he realises to make that break into the top 10 or the top 5, which is his ambition, he's going to have to be a little bit more, take part in a few more of the races, World Cup, and spend a bit more time in Europe. Definitely got the ability, just needs that week-on-week race experience against the best guys in the world.
Ian Field of Great Britain finishes 29th, just crossing the line in front of our commentary box right now.
Look at that crowd. When you say you see a crowd and it's 4 deep, that's probably about 40 deep.
I think it must be.
Yeah.
It's just like a big, it's kind of theatre in that area, isn't it? Everyone just crowded in, just enjoying the atmosphere, no trouble, and just cheering on everyone.
There'll be a few people that'll be phoning in late for work in the morning, I think, Anthony. There's going to be some sore heads.
I think
there were some sore heads about 11 o'clock this morning before these 2 races. Then they had a 3-hour lunch break, so...
There were people falling asleep outside the beer tent at about 11:30. It's been a long old morning. Well, what can you say about this man? He can do everything, can't he? He's so talented. And what if he's on this form already, what's he going to be like in the road season if he can transform some of that power to longer distance? Very, very impressive.
Very impressive.
You think, I mean, Sven Nys has, he's done everything he possibly could to win this World Championship, hasn't he?
He's done, he has, yes. Everything from the preparation to the actual race itself. I think he did everything right. And he was just beaten by somebody that was, again, on top of his day and didn't make so many mistakes. Yeah, well, the mistakes that Stybar made, Nys wasn't able to take advantage of them. He was behind Stybar when they happened, like the slide off on the right-hand bend. When Nys made that little stumble on the last climb, he was just behind already a couple of lengths, and it just made that gap a bit bigger. And I think once you give a rider like Stybar those few lengths
then that's
on the last half lap, then it's yeah, it's pretty hard to bring him back.
So everyone now making their way across the course to try and get a sight of the podium. And still riders coming into the finish just in front of us. Haven't seen them for a few days, but you'll be pleased to know, if you were with us and watching any of the other races, that the Muppets have just walked across the front of the commentary box, which is always good. They're safe and sound. I haven't seen your fox, by the way.
The fox bolted to a skateboard. Yes.
Yeah, who brings a fox bolted to a skateboard to a cyclo-cross?
Well, evidently, as if you need to know anything, just ask Twitter. Vos is fox in Dutch.
Oh yes, very true.
Oh, yeah. Right. The way you bolt it to a skateboard, I suppose it's easier to transport when it's bolted to a skateboard. So, yeah.
Mariana is around here today somewhere, I'm told. I wonder if she's met the fox. See, we just got ahead of any rain that might fall.
Yeah, it's on its way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very, very dark.
The last time we had the World Championships here, about this time it started to snow, and then a few hours later there was 10 centimetres of snow and no one could get out.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, if you woke up on Monday morning in Hoogerheide, you were here for a couple of days. There was no road to.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
I think we'll be okay today.
I'm going to the tour of Dubai. Got to get there.
No snow there. You'll be fine.
Definitely no snow there.
Yeah.
Right, we're getting ready now for the presentations and for the interviews. I think we're probably going to see the interview first. We normally do before the presentation. So the next World Championships, for those of you who are making a note on your diaries, next year in Tabor, am I right in saying?
Tabor next year, yeah.
Here's the winner.
Congratulations. You won against Lars on his home soil.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was really very hard race. I crashed one time, and on that moment I thought, like, okay, now it's over. But, you know, from the beginning, I just thought, okay, let's make the race hard. I have nothing to lose, and I have seen that we were only with 4. Lars van den Haar was behind, Francis Mouret was behind, we were with 4. And I thought like, okay, now I have to go. I just have to give everything, even when I had really hard start, because I was from 4th, maybe 5th line, and I had to brake full gas on the start. And I had to come back, so it was really big effort for me. But I get there pretty fast. And then I thought, okay, now I go for it. I'm going to make it just hard, and I see where I end. And then we were with 3, then with 2, and I thought, okay, now I just going to fight for podium.
You really played the cat and mouse of these guys. How did you keep the race under control?
I was just, it's maybe different when you have like pressure that you are really full-time cyclocrosser, and for me it was like just going for full preparation for the road season, just to come to the cyclocross to do one race, World Championship. And I didn't feel like it's World Championship for the moment, except the crowd, which were amazing. And but yeah, I was just enjoying the race, and I thought, okay, I just go to fight for the podium.
This was a real big achievement. I mean, considering your World Cup season, which was not really consistent.
No, I have done only 6 races in cyclocross, so it's not really a lot. It was really like I just thought, okay, it's really some circuit what would suit me, and I thought, okay, I just gonna try and I see where I end. But I really didn't expect that I will be world champion.
Last question. This is your 3rd World Championship. What kind of feeling is it compared to the 2 first?
The first one is nothing to compare. It was in front of my home crowd in Czech Republic. Was first one, so it's really nothing to compare. Until now, it's still the peak of my career. And now this one is it's of course really very nice. I really appreciate to be world champion, and but it's not the same as the first time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, a very honest interview from Zdeněk Štýbar as he reflects on the fact that he won in front of his home crowd, and why not? Here's the highlights then. This is what happened as the riders went powering off the start. At this point it was still Sven Nys looking very, very good. They'd left Van der Haar a little bit behind. Štýbar was there, Van der Haar making a few mistakes along the way. Sven Nys not doing so much work, shaking his head. Štýbar trying very hard at this point in the race to try and get Sven Nys to work with him. We then had this little crash, Štýbar hitting the ground. Sven Nys reacting so fast, getting back on the bike nice and quickly. And then when he was pressing on the advantage, he then hit the deck too. Constant changes, lots of things going on all around the route. And then this is the point when the race was won. This was Sven Nys having to get off the bike and Štýbar just pressing home the advantage, just taking a couple of seconds, and that was enough.
It was, yeah. It was. He beat the master today, Štýbar. Nys, over a career of 18 or 19 years, has been the guy to beat year on year. And, you know, when he won in 2005, he hadn't won the Worlds, and it's like, when's Sven going to win the Worlds? And he won in 2005, and it's like, right, he can retire now. And that was 9 years ago.
And he didn't.
And then, yeah, last year when he won in Louisville, that was the icing on his cake. Anything after that is just a bonus.
Well, he's also now putting back his knees, investing in cyclocross and cycling in his home town as well, and making sure there's facilities there. So he's kind of turning his attention to what he's going to do in the future. We move on now then to the medal presentation and the presentation of the rainbow bands of the world champion.
The award ceremony for the UCI Cyclo-cross World Championships for Elite Men.
Het gaat om de huldigingsteken van de UCI Wereldkampioenschappen Elite Mannen.
In third place and winner of the bronze medal, Kevin Powles of Belgium.
The bronze medal then goes to the Belgian rider Kevin Powles, who's won this bronze medal on 2 other occasions.
The medals and the jersey will be presented by Mr. Brian Cookson, president of the UCI.
De medailles en de trui worden uitgereikt door Brian Cookson, dat is de president van de UCI.
In second place, winner of the silver medal, Sven Nys of Belgium.
Op de tweede plaats, de winnaar van de
The master takes silver medal today.
Uit België, Sven Nys uit België.
Sven Nys takes second place in these World Championships.
Winner of the gold medal and the rainbow jersey as the new world champion, Zdeněk Štíbar of Czech Republic.
Op de eerste plaats,
Zdeněk Štíbar then is the world champion. He won, of course, his first title. Oh, a little emotional. It means a lot to the support teams and everyone else as well. There's a few tears in this team. Well, he's got the rainbow bands, the gold medal.
Will be presented by the hardest working man in Hoogerheide. Please welcome Mr. Jan Praat, president of the local organizing committee, Hoogerheide 2014.
It's great to see how much it means to everyone who supports and looks after these riders, and it was some race.
Hij gaat de bloemen overhandigen aan de top 3 met zijn gelukwensen daarbij.
As we wait now for the national anthem. And these fans are going to party, I think, for the rest of the night.
It'll be interesting, Anthony, if Štíbar shows off the jersey at one of the remaining races this season, or whether he's actually got to go off tomorrow morning on some road training camp. There's 5 races left in Belgium.
Yeah, it will be interesting. He's got a big road season ahead of him.
I'm sure his agents will be negotiating some deal right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have
in the
your
Belgian
attention,
jersey,
please,
national champs
for the
jersey.
national anthem of the Czech Republic.
Graag uw hoofddeksels een beetje verwijderen
And so
en
for the
graag uw
national
maximale
anthem.
aandacht voor het nationale volkslied van Tsjechië. Bij een onvergetelijk kampioenschap hoort een onvergetelijk applaus voor de nummer 3, Kevin Pauwels.
Zdeněk Štíbar then, the final world champion of a great weekend of racing here in Hoogerheide. Simon, we've seen Marianne Vos, Van Aert and T-Sets take gold medals so far, and we capitalise on that with Zdeněk Štíbar, a great weekend of cyclo-cross.
It's been a fabulous weekend. It's been a great show for the however many thousands of people that have shown up here. We've had some nice TV pictures to look at that have shown the racing well, and we've had worthy winners in every race. There's not been an unlucky, a winner there that wasn't lucky for it. It was great racing.
Well, he's going to enjoy this World Championship jersey, the gold medal. Now he's off to do the various press conferences and everything else that he needs to do. These fans are just going to enjoy themselves around this course and just thrive on the rest of the atmosphere. To all of you who've sent us messages, who've listened and watched and taken part in 2 days of fantastic racing, thank you very much for joining us. From Simon Burney alongside me, giving so much great technical insight and analysis on the racing, and from me, Anthony McCrossan, it's been an absolute pleasure bringing you these World Championships, and we look forward to talking to you again soon. We'll leave you with some sights and sounds of a great World Championship here in Hoogerheide, and we'll be back again with Cyclo-cross soon. Bye for now.